Welcome to Strike a Pose. Today's pose is called Chaturanga. It is one of the poses in yoga that we always use the word Chaturanga. For some reason we don't typically use the English term, which is four-limbed staff pose. And maybe that's why it's just easier to say Chaturanga. Chaturanga is actually complicated, so I had a request to kind of break this down because it is really important that you do this correctly because it's easy to get injured. It's a lot of shoulders. So we're going to start, basically your Chaturanga is your low plank. We're moving from high plank to low plank, and it is the middle point where if you're in a vinyasa class where we say move through your vinyasa, move through your Chaturanga. So if you're in a vinyasa class, it's something you can always skip, and do skip it if you're not doing it correctly, but hopefully this tutorial will kind of help you a little bit. So the hands are planted into the mat. You want to make sure the fingers are nice and wide. You're pressing down with the thumb, the index, and the middle finger. The legs go out long. So we are in high plank. Now what happens a lot in Chaturanga and how people injure their shoulders is we're going down to low plank. But watch what happens if I don't move my placement. If I just go right down to low plank from here, my shoulders collapse and I eventually collapse. So that's not good. So there is a trick here to Chaturanga. So we are in high plank. Before you lower, the first step is pushing forward. So just notice that, how I went from high plank. Keep your gaze forward. You push the chest forward. That opens your shoulders. Keeping the shoulders in towards the body, so dialing them in, then you can begin to lower. So you're hovering. And then you can come back to high plank, come back to center, and then come back to your knees. So obviously we'll move through that a couple times, moving through an up dog, moving through a cobra. But really keep in mind you've got to go forward before you go down. So trying that again. Coming back to your high plank. So keep the gaze forward too. You don't want the gaze to be here because that protracts the shoulders. So keep the gaze forward, looking outside at the top or beyond your mat. So you're going to hinge forward. Keep the elbows in. So your shoulders should be in line with your elbows, 90-degree angle. And from here, you are able to push forward. So you can push forward to your cobra, and then back to your downward facing dog. So trying that again, coming back to your high plank, look forward, push forward, lower down. You're hovering here. Notice the 90-degree angle, shoulders, elbows, wrists. And then if you're going to up dog, you just push through, flip the feet to your up dog, and then back to your down dog. So in Chaturanga, just like anything, any sport, any practice, oh, I'm out of breath. A lot of people have like a pre-game routine. So the way I do it, I kind of push forward and push back so that I can flip my feet. Not necessary, I'm just going to show you. So setting up again to high plank, shoulders, elbows are dialed in, hinge forward, lower all the way down. Now this is where I kind of push back so my feet slide back so that I can plant them. Again, not necessary, it's just my pre-game routine. And then come back to your down dog. So another way to build strength, and again, you just want to make sure you're not dumping. Another way to build strength here is just to practice that up and down forward motion. So from your high plank, dial the elbows in, gazes forward, lean forward, low plank, hover, high plank, come back to center, lean forward, Low plank hover. Keep the gaze in front of you. Press it back up. Back to center. The whole time, another key is keeping that navel to the spine. The core has to be engaged to keep that whole strength of the 4 limbs. So that is your Chaturanga. Let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy.